Hello. Welcome to Education in Our Community. I'm LORA SALL, and today I have the pleasure of meeting with a extremely talented family. And that's the title of our show. I have to my left Genius Wesley and Naya Wesley and their father LaTroy Wesley. Forgive me. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome and welcome. Okay. Now, for the first few minutes of the show, we are going to have a cutaway of some of your playing. And let's just enjoy your music. Thank you. That was wonderful to see Genius perform. And when we talk about talent, we're talking about a family of musicians. And Genius is, as you just saw, been on the drums. Naya plays the saxophone as well as the piano. And their father is going to share with us all the challenges and changes that they've gone through to keep their children involved in music. And so let's start with you, LaTroy, and talk to us about these beginnings of all of this talent that's right in your family. How was it that you got your children involved in music?
It just came naturally within them. They involved themselves in it, so all we did was encourage it and invest in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say we,
Me
you
and my
and
wife.
your wife
Yes.
were really instrumental in encouraging them. But before, I believe your wife mentioned that she used to play music when she was pregnant with Naya. She used to stick the earphones next to her stomach.
Yes, yes. With
Okay.
Sarah Vaughan and Nina Simone and people like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you decided, okay, the children are showing some gifts here. You mentioned that Genius used to bang on the table and
Yes.
on the couch and was constantly
Yeah.
hitting things.
The table.
Okay.
So we invested in that drum set.
Okay. And then when Naya, she was on the piano and playing the saxophone, can you go back to what it was like? Because she's 17 and Genius is 14. We're talking a number of years that y'all been supporting your family, and you came out of North Oakland, right? And you have 4 beautiful children, but you have 5?
Yes.
And they all show some interest in music?
Our oldest, he plays the bass guitar as well, but he's doing his own thing.
But he plays? Wow. Okay, so let's go all the way back. And you said they just showed some talent. You as a parent, are you a musician?
Not a formal musician, no, but I love to sing
Okay,
around the house.
all right. And your wife, does she play?
She can play the drums, and she sings as well.
Okay.
She loves to
And
sing.
so did y'all play music at home prior to having all the kids?
No, not like a family group or anything.
Okay,
No, we just have fun.
all right.
Pick up stuff and just dib
Okay.
and dab in it.
Now, years ago when we were growing up, everybody had a piano in the house. Do you have a piano in your house, and
Yes.
how did that come about?
I grew up, there's been a piano in my life, in my house all my life.
Okay,
I was raised like that. My great-grandparents' piano was in the home.
okay. But when you got married, did y'all have a piano in your house?
My great-grandfather's piano was still there,
Okay,
never moved.
all right.
Yeah.
And then what about the other instruments? How did that come about?
We just started, we bought him a drum set when he was really young, and we just kept buying more and more instruments.
Okay. Now, did Naya have piano lessons?
From Professor Bill Bell,
Okay.
her and Genius both.
Okay. Now, how did that come about?
It came about, Downs United Methodist Church, our church, it's also the home for Bill Bell and his wife Gail. Bill Bell, he heard Genius playing at church, and he took Genius under his wing, Genius and Naya as well under his wing, and he started taking them to his home and started teaching them music theory and teaching them everything about music
Okay.
and piano.
Okay. And then there were other people that were involved in teaching them. Did you want to mention them?
Yeah, when Genius was young, we had he had a drum teacher named Jason. We met him at Starving Musicians on Shattuck in Berkeley, and he taught Genius a lot of licks and rhythms and grooves. And then we were taking our baby Jimmy to the doctor, and the doctor had a bunch of jazz musicians' pictures, and we told him that Genius was a musician, and he told us to take him to Khalil Shaheed at Oaktown Jazz Workshop. And Genius was about 8, and we took him there, and he joined their group, and he just took off from there, and Naya joined as well, and they both started performing.
Okay. Thank you. Naya, you just graduated from high school, Berkeley High.
Yes.
Right here. And what really got you involved in music?
When I was in the 7th grade, I joined the band. I went to Emory High School in Emeryville, and I joined the band. I first started out on piano, and then I switched to tenor saxophone.
Mm-hmm. Now, the piano and sax are 2 very different instruments.
Yeah.
Now, can you speak about why you made that change and how challenging it might have been for you?
Well, one of my friends was actually playing the tenor saxophone, and it was just only her, so they needed somebody else to play the saxophone, and it was like a bunch of piano players. So I decided to switch to tenor saxophone, and I found it really interesting.
Wow, just interesting.
Yeah.
That's talent. You know, talented people say it's interesting, okay? You're awesome, okay? Now, what are your plans now that you've graduated from high school?
I plan on going to community college and transferring to a four-year.
Okay. And as far as your music, what are you doing now with your music?
I teach kids how to play the saxophone at Oaktown Jazz Workshops in a Thursday class, and I play with them in a Tuesday class. And so I basically teach them how to read music, how to play the notes on the saxophone, and rhythms and things like that.
That is fabulous. Each one teach one. And Mr. Genius, you have become magical when it comes to that drum. And I know that you play other instruments as well. Okay, tell us what all do you play?
I started out on drums, and in the 5th grade, they didn't have any drums in the band, so I had to choose 3 instruments. So I chose saxophone, clarinet, and trumpet.
In the 5th grade? Okay.
So I got alto saxophone, and I've been playing on and off since, and I have lessons. Well, I had lessons with Teojos Avery, so I don't have them anymore, but I still play at Oaktown Jazz.
The
with
saxophone?
Naya. Yeah.
Okay, and how did drumming become your specialty?
My mom, she used to hold up the headphones to her stomach when I was in her stomach too.
Okay.
And when I was born, like, I grew up and she was just playing all types of music around me. So I liked the way the drums sound. And I was like, what is that? Mom was like, the drums. And I just started beating on everything around the house. And she finally got me a drum set on my birthday. And I guess I took it seriously, like, ever since.
Wow. Now, so much music has been removed from the schools, okay? And I know you're being homeschooled now, right? And so, can you speak from the perspective of a genius, a children of music? What do you feel needs to happen as it relates to music and increasing music in the schools?
I mean, a lot of kids like music, but some kids don't. So the school system doesn't really care about music that much. They put more towards sports and stuff like that. So it takes away from the music programs. But I like music, so I'm all for the music in the schools.
Yeah.
And usually it's like really easy. It was really easy at my school, so I kind of didn't like it. But they have like advanced class and stuff, advanced classes. So I got into those classes, and it got kind of better. I would like switch instruments just for fun. And like I played flute for like a couple of days in 8th grade, but that didn't work out for me.
Okay. No. Naya, I want to come back to you, but LaTroy, can you speak about what you feel is missing in the schools and the challenge it is to have our kids focus on music versus sports?
Well, I like no injuries, for one. Okay. I don't like injuries. I don't want my children to have broken arms or broken legs. And music is good business, and it requires a lot of brain power. And you learn how to read a different language. You know, and it's really positive for our children. I mean, music is mathematics as well. You know, it's a lot that comes with music.
And so do you think that it's strategic removing the music away from children rather than having them just be out there running and beating up against each other in a sport?
I'd prefer the music over sports. You know, we just have to give it a try. I know a lot of us, we like our children to play football. You know, we want to see our kids run and score touchdowns and shoot three-pointers. But we also blow instruments as well, you know. You know, we come from music. That's part of our heritage. That's part of our roots.
Yes.
You know, and we need to come back to that and come together.
Okay. And so more parents need to be encouraging their children to play an instrument.
Invest in music instruments and not video game consoles.
Hello. Say that again.
Invest in music and not video game consoles.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, you put the video game out there, then you could go on and do something else. You don't have to focus on encouraging your children to practice and to learn certain songs. You could just let them sit there and play the video game without any concentration and spending time with your kids. But you're saying spend that time and get them involved in music. What do you think, Naya? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's really worth it. Well, number one, because music is a universal thing. So if you like listening to music, then like you could play music. It's not really that hard. It's just a matter of like if you're really into it. Like if you could play it for fun, or you could like do it seriously. But I find it really fun to do, and you know, you learn a lot from it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so much has been taken away from our talents, our being, you know, African American communities and families. So much has been removed, and the real talent that we experienced growing up, you know, you had your jazz, you had your blues, you had your R&B, all these different musicians. Now, there's still a lot of talent that's there, but the focus is more on rap. And it takes talent to put the wording together and to perform rap, but it doesn't compare to the talent that it takes to play an instrument and to sing on tune. And so, can you speak of how you believe children would be more encouraged if music was presented to them today? Like the kids you're teaching, are they excited to learn the instruments, or do you find that you have to really, you know, push them towards certain instruments?
It's a few of them that's like really interested in playing, but some of them I have to like push them to like, you know, want to learn how to do the things. I feel like when kids think about instruments, they think of like just only one genre. You know, you don't have to play an instrument, like you don't have to only play one genre. It's different genres that you can play with an instrument.
Okay.
It's not just jazz or just blues. You can also play hip hop or R&B. So it's just, I feel like they stick it down to one genre. That's why they don't find it interesting, because they don't listen to that type of music.
Okay. And oftentimes the parents have not been involved in music, and they've just been surviving. And so when you're talking about parents encouraging their children to do something that they don't necessarily do or have done, it becomes more of a challenge as well. And so, Genius, when it comes to staying focused and practicing. Do you do it every day?
Yeah, I used to not do it a lot, but it got more interesting as I went along.
Really?
So I started doing it every day.
What made it more interesting for you?
Just seeing people play and like performances and stuff and being like, I want to be up there. And I asked people like, how do I do that? You got to practice. So that's why I started practicing more.
And so instead of watching TV, you're practicing.
I used to watch a lot of TV. Now I don't.
Really? Just on your own?
Yeah.
Now, did y'all just shut down a certain area of the house where they could go and play their music, or is it all over the house?
Our living room.
It's
like a studio.
It's like a studio. That's all right.
Yeah.
And so you get to, no one's in the background telling you, stop, get off the drums, I'm trying to watch TV.
No.
Everybody is involved in practicing or listening to music.
Our 5-year-old gets on the drums. Our 3-year-old gets on the drums.
What more do you feel you would like to do for your children and or for our community to get the kids involved in music?
We appreciate the exposure. That's what we need. Exposure. That's what they were exposed to. Exposure of jazz and music, and it's all about exposure. Like I'm saying, our toddlers have been on stage performing. They're not shy, no inhibitions. No one's never shut them down and told them they can't do that. Because you can do whatever you want to do.
That's beautiful. Now, can you talk about what events Genius has coming up?
He performs tonight at Birdland Jazzista on 43rd and Martin Luther King. He'll be at Jeffrey's tomorrow night, 14th and Franklin. November 26th, he'll be at San Jose with Faye Carroll. Next Wednesday, he'll be in San Francisco at Club Deluxe with Khalil Wilson. Every second Thursday, he's at the Terrace Room at Lake Merritt Hotel with David Sturdivant. He's all over the place.
No, but he's 14 years old.
Yes.
Now, how is it he can be in some of these places?
Homeschool does have its advantages.
Okay.
It gives you freedom, and as long as you're getting your studying in, yeah, he does what he's supposed to do.
Plus, you're with him when he goes to
Yes.
certain events.
Yes.
Yeah, or all of his events.
I'm there everywhere.
Always chaperone.
Yes.
So, in addition to encouraging children, parents got to be involved.
You have to be there. You have to have the time. That's another thing. I have the time.
And you got to take the time.
Yeah.
You know, because there are a lot of parents who are working and doing other things to support their family, but they still take the time to go to a game or sit back and watch a game and get involved in other things. And so you have to take the time to get involved with your kids.
Oh, yeah. He's almost my boss.
Well, and it's not just you. You and your wife are involved, and the whole family is involved in music, and so it's easier to focus the family on music when everybody is involved.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
Okay. And so, Naya, are there other things that you feel would help to encourage a family that may not have everybody involved in music?
Pretty much the same thing. Just be there and try to encourage them to, do what they feel or do what they like. We were watching the Sister Act 2, And Whoopi Goldberg said to Lauryn Hill, if the first thing you think about is singing when you wake up, then that's what you're meant to do.
Whoa. Whoa, that's special. And so often people don't know what they're meant to do. So it's really a blessing when you can find your niche, find that thing inside of you that lights your fire, that makes you want to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it helps also to have music playing around the house and to have people dancing and celebrating together. And we have music in our churches. And so it helps when we take the time to look back at our history and see that music was a vital part of our community. And so when you're playing, can you envision yourself being on a larger stage with hundreds of thousands of people sitting listening?
Yeah, I would love that. That's what I look forward to. That's why I play now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think in terms of having your own group, or right now you're focusing on just playing with other groups?
I'm playing around with a lot of other groups, but I would like to have my own. I know a few other youth musicians that play, and they're fine.
Okay. And with the homeschooling, are there other children who are homeschooled that you get to play with?
I play with a piano player. His name is Isaiah Harwood.
Okay.
He just turned 13 last week, and he plays piano. He's amazing.
Wow.
And I played with him in San Francisco before, and he's great.
So there's a whole community of young musicians that are coming up right here in the Bay Area, okay? And there's a whole community of young musicians who are teaching, and older ones who are happy to pass on that information. Now, have you had to reach out to other musicians, the older musicians, to encourage them to train your children?
No, they grab our children. They embrace them. They welcome them. That's what they want.
Because they see their talent.
Yes.
That's excellent.
They embrace youth. Yes.
That is really, really good. And so, what is it you want other people to know about you today?
I love music. I love jazz. And if you have anything to tell me that will help me for my future, then come on in. Tell me, because I want to know.
Okay. Well, you know, once again, we're at the end of our show. It goes so fast. And I want to thank all of you for coming in, for encouraging our community members to embrace music again and teach our children to be as great as they are. And so thank you again for coming. And my name is LORA SALL, and this is Education in Our Community, and thank you for watching.